Hello once again, everyone, and welcome to the Sanctuary. Once again, we're playing Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail, and tonight we're beginning the newest patch of Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail, patch 7.3, otherwise titled the
Bunnies Get Hats.
No. No, it's not titled Bunnies Get Hats. We're starting patch 7.3, otherwise known as the Promise of Tomorrow. Though frickin' both Fyrax and Corlash are happy because, you know,
bunnies get hats.
Bunnies get hats. And so do cat daddies too. But anyways, before we begin, let us introduce ourselves. As always, we are joined by Lord Fyrax.
Yo.
And Corlash.
Now in a hat.
Now in a hat. And of course, I am Chris Valentine, aka Cruisenick X, your host. Honestly, I have been kind of slacking off these last few days in remembering the storyline, so I'm gonna pull up my journal because Lord knows I actually need it this time.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah. So, the story so far. Well, first and foremost, we discovered that the real Queen Sphene is actually alive, and who we thought was Queen Sphene is actually just a simulacrum. We've also got a new foe in the game, known by the name of, and I'm trying to remember his name so badly, but I always forget. His name is Calyx, and apparently, the real Sphene knows him to a certain extent. Meanwhile, a whole bunch of citizens of Solution 9 have also received new, God, what is the name of it? New receptors? I keep forgetting the name of it. I'm gonna be accessing this journal a little bit too much, I bet. I am just drawing a blank. I really should have watched my old footage before we started, but it's been a busy month since we started here, so yeah. The main questions: how is Calyx gonna freaking deal with living memory? How are we going to stop Calyx and the replicant Sphene? These are all questions that we need answered, so we're gonna hit the back room right now and get right down to it with our next quest in the Dawntrail journey, Targeted Tragedy. If you have a moment, Chris, Geode wants to take stock of the current crisis. Oblivion may be lacking the finer details in certain areas, so we'd like you to lend your perspective to the conversation.
Sorry to drag you into our meeting, but we need to get a better handle on the threats Alexandria is facing right now.
Not at all. Much has happened since the state funeral, and a clearer idea of where things stand would be beneficial for us as well. First things first, then. Let's discuss the state of the machine malfunctions. Every single sector reported instances of sentries attacking citizens without provocation, and vehicles suddenly becoming unresponsive to controls. And while these malfunctions were resolved fairly quickly, they nevertheless resulted in a considerable number of injuries and fatalities. But you haven't heard anything about new incidents since then, right? Right. No additional reports have been logged, as far as I know. That's the good news. The bad news is, I tried to take control of the soldiers when they started hurting people, but they wouldn't listen to me, even though I have the king's authority. Once things calmed down, I was finally able to make them give up their weapons. But if it happens again, I don't know if they'll ignore me like before.
The King of Resolve's authority is about the highest there is. Who is this man that can override it with such impunity?
Calyx. He lived in the age of the Storm Surge, as I did. Lest you forget, he was known for his advancements in electrope technology, and it was he who established preservation for the purpose of furthering his research. The wasting disease which afflicted him, however, was said to leave him scant years to live. He must have chosen to undergo conversion into an endless, that he might continue his efforts into the present day.
Reservation's early goals seem noble enough. Exploring treatments for Levin sickness, designing Everkeep's core system, that sort of thing. Why harm the people he was ostensibly trying to help?
I do not pretend to fully understand Calyx's motivations. Only that he appeared incensed by what he saw as mankind's failings. He asserted that the strategy of adapting our species through generational succession was outdated. That evolution now requires us to forsake bodies of flesh in favor of eternal preservation. We've already seen how he's employed the simulant to convince Alexandrians that endless conversion is their only hope for survival. Eternal life is assured for the 5,000 who register their neo-regulators.
That's the word I was looking for.
But this is merely one part of Calyx's greater plan. He wants the key to interdimensional fusion. With that relic in his possession, he will draw ether from the reflections and expand his efforts to create Endless 1,000-fold. If we mean to foil Calyx's schemes, then our only option is to determine where he's hiding and put him down. Which, unfortunately, is easier said than done. I've been scouring the terminal we found in the depths of Everkeep, but I failed to uncover even the slightest trace of his activities. Give me a little more time, though, and I'm sure I can sniff him out. I'll help you.
While Galulja and Shale are working on that, I think I'm going to take a look around town. I want to make sure no new problems have cropped up, as well as search for any information that might lead us to Calyx. You're welcome to come along. Another malfunction could happen at any time, and I'd be glad to have some brawlers at my back.
Yeah, we've got some brawlers, all right. Count me in. Raha and the others are helping Oblivion patrol the other levels of the keep. So, shall we stick to the streets of Solution 9?
Sounds like a plan. Thanks, you two. I appreciate the company.
I have to speak with the city's administrators about bringing in the Landsguard. I want our soldiers around to protect those who are moving to Tuliolal. Alphino and LSA will be joining me for the meeting, so the three of us can cover that sector as soon as we're done. If I may, I'd like to join Chris's group, if you'll have me.
The more mouths ask questions, the merrier. As long as you're aware of the dangers.
Thank you. I'll do my best not to be a burden. I'm more worried about you, Geode. Don't do anything stupid.
You'll change your tune once we get back with the goods on Calyx. Then the drinks are on you. Come on,
Let's continue this outside. All right, back out to solution 9.
Yep.
Not bad with the hat, though. I don't know. I've never been a fan of that particular outfit that you're wearing. Only because it looks so it looks so baggy. Like if it were more form-fitting, I would understand.
Yeah, but the noir look is supposed to be baggy. Noir isn't exactly known for form-fitting suits.
You never know. Finely tailored ones, you know. Anywhoozy. Geode? Sorry, I was off in my own little world. Shall we get started? The people seem uneasy. They do. I can't say as I blame them. It was the Queen's fondest wish that her subjects remain shielded from the horrors of death. So they were for the longest time. Then, the moment mortality once again becomes an unavoidable fact of life, they're greeted with an outbreak of bloody violence. Many are bound to give the endless alternatives serious consideration. Indeed. And I do not blame them for that. It is only natural that such thoughts should come to mind. What I cannot forgive is the way Calyx wields fear and misery to manipulate people into making that choice. No one, not Calyx nor anyone else, should dictate how we cope with the specter of death. As one who lived as an Alexandrian, I wish to put the choices for this country's future back into the hands of its citizens. And you think we can handle that responsibility? After everything you've seen of us? It is what I've seen that has convinced me you can. I awoke 4 centuries later to find our people living and laughing beneath Alexandria's banner. Though surprised and bewildered, I was overjoyed to see it so. You all deserve to be happy. Well then. We'd best not let you down. Now, I suggest we move as a group. We don't know if or when a battle might find us. Oh, I believe someone came prepared for just such an eventuality. Is that the grimoire you retrieved from the old castle? Yes. My parents gifted it to me when I was a child. They were adamant that I should learn to protect the things important to me. I was fortunate enough to have a tutor in the arcane arts, so I lay claim to some small measure of skill. If that's the case, it might be better if we split into 2 groups after all. It would certainly be more efficient for information gathering. I guess that makes sense. The 2 of you can take the west side of the recreation zone then. Chris and I will take the east. Very well. We shall end our patrol in the plaza just past Trueview and await you there. All right. Geode. Let's do the rounds then. See what's what and chat to the people we meet along the way. Pay special attention to anyone who looks overwhelmed or overly excited.
Hopefully that'll learn us a tidbit or two we didn't know before.
And now we get this new tutorial for escort missions. Your next quest objective requires escorting. Learn more about this quest objective via the question mark icon in the duty list. Well, it's a lot better than what we used to have. All right, I am gonna head to the right to start off with and start with this lighthearted citizen. What has me in such a fine mood, you ask? Well, I've just registered my new regulator. I was leery of becoming nothing but memories at first, but now that I've gone through with the registration, I've never felt more at ease. Also, once it was done, the regulator displayed the current numbers. Of the 5,000 slots available, over 3,800 have already been filled. So, if you're still hesitant, you've not much time to make your mind up. Mark my words, friend. When there's only a few slots left, it's going to get very ugly. All right. Let's do this conversation piece right quick. Ah, the memories. I used to drink around here all the time. I made sure not to overdo it when I had work the next day, but once we were past the busy season, or when the ladies weren't amenable to my company, well, you'd have to scrape me off the street outside in the morning or afternoon. The worst I ever got on was on what should have been the worst day of my life. If only I could remember it. I was still wearing a regulator back then. It was also the day I first met Shale, although I guarantee she's forgotten it completely. Citizen? Are the sentries and airwheelers safe to be around now? I just know it's going to happen again. And maybe next time I'll be the one who dies in a horrible accident. I need a neo-regulator. Becoming endless is the only way. Even Queen Sphene said so! You want to hear my story? While I appreciate you offering a sympathetic ear, there's not much to tell. If you must know, a good friend of mine died when those machines went crazy. His airwheeler dropped right out of the sky and he didn't survive the crash. Damn fool wasn't wearing a regulator. I know that's not so strange these days, but he never bothered with one. He was at peace with the idea of dying someday, and I thought I understood what that meant. Until it happened. Chris, a word. I feel like there was a new factor in these stories we've heard. One we hadn't considered during our discussion with everyone in the back room. That a victim of violence wasn't wearing a regulator? Yes, that's it. The vast majority of residents have always worn regulators, so it's not a detail we'd normally think about. With the supplies of souls cut off, though, more and more people have been going without them. We need to look into the casualties from the recent attacks and check whether or not they were equipped with regulators. Let's ask around on the street over to the east. It was pretty chaotic at the time, but maybe we'll find eyewitnesses who can help us confirm if this was a pattern or not. All right, let's see if it is a pattern. Or at least to have this conversation piece first. Hover cargo? It was once my job to deliver goods by hover cargo.
That's why I know a fair number of names and faces throughout the city. Little ones who'd jump for joy when I brought them packages. The old lady who'd always greet me with a smile. I'd hate for anything bad to happen to them. True man of the people. Okay. Unarmed sentry?
Hello. How are you today? Please let me know if I may be of assistance. Citywide casualty data unavailable. Government officials are currently processing reports from all affected zones.
Can you narrow it down to the recreation zone then? You must have some estimates on hand.
Recalibrating parameters. Injured, 87 individuals. Casualties, 19 individuals. Casualties equipped with regulators, 0.
And the unsettled sanitation worker?
You wish to know if the people who died in the machine rampage were wearing regulators? I'm sorry, but I was assigned to clearing away debris. I didn't see any of the deceased. No bodies were present by the time I arrived, so I assumed the ushers had already done their work. I do remember there being patches of white dust scattered about that were quite a chore to clean up, but nothing else worthy of mention.
Chris, I think it's time we rejoin Kryle and Sphene. I was half joking with my boast to Shale, but we may have stumbled upon something major here. We should share our findings and keep pursuing this avenue of inquiry. Didn't Kryle say to meet them in the plaza just outside of Trueview? Let's get going. What were you interacting with over there, Corlash?
Oh, just another request I'd picked up at some point.
Oh, a side quest?
Yeah.
Ah. Hey, Tri-Tails Training. We'll be back to you tomorrow, hopefully.
True View Blues.
True.
I was just, True View Blues is the quest.
I don't think I have that quest. Or I don't think I've done that quest. All right, let's talk to Kryle.
Just looking at trash cans.
Ah. All right, let's talk to Kryle.
Yeah.
So essentially, you're saying that the people who were killed by malfunctioning machines weren't wearing regulators?
Well, the numbers are still tentative and only apply to that one zone. We don't know how they'll stack up against the overall data, but this is definitely more than a coincidence. I think it's safe to say that anyone who had removed their regulator was a priority target.
Now that you mention it, the person I was treating for injuries wasn't wearing one either. But why? Why are they being targeted over everyone else? Based solely on the lack of a neo-regulator, we cannot judge if a person has no desire to become an endless, or if they simply fail to acquire one of the limited devices. But those who wear no regulator at all, they have clearly rejected the old system of using souls to revive themselves. Put another way, they have chosen to live their lives in the knowledge that death is an inevitability. The chances that such resolute people would wish to become endless are far lower, I would imagine. And so Calyx has chosen those least likely to accept his vision as victims to stoke fear and panic.
But there was no need to kill anyone. But the way things were, the people were already fearful enough. He could have found 5,000 willing citizens without all this madness.
You make a good point. Perhaps this sowing of terror is in service to another scheme. Or he had some other need for the lives he's taken.
What of the dust found at the various sites? Right, the sanitation worker's story. She saw no bodies, but mentioned piles of white dust.
Dust, but no bodies? Now, where have I heard that before? Do you recall when we went to save Erenville from the sentries in the outskirts? That Usher Malachite told us much the same thing.
When I arrived, I found no body, only a pile of dust which the wind quickly scattered. Confused, I questioned the residents, but none knew what had become of it.
That both stories speak of missing remains is suspicious enough, but the shared mention of this dust is too much to ignore. In that case, we should confirm if this substance was present at other sites and attempt to ascertain its nature. Following this thread may lead us not only to an explanation for the missing bodies, but also the intent behind Calix's murderous actions. Please, we need your help. I've lost control over the soldiers in the residential area. They may be trying to hurt people again. Oblivion members are on their way now, but are you close enough to join them?
Damn it! Our new investigation will have to wait. Let's go! Oh shit.
Yeah, that's not creepy at all. And that's even creepier.
Stay back! Stay away from me! Leave him alone!
Are you all right?
What happened here?
He started attacking?
Sentry walked into my apartment, even though I'd locked the door and everything. I managed to run, but the man who tried to save me.
No weapons, which is to be expected, considering all the sentries were meant to be disarmed. Yet it was ordered to attack all the same, even if that meant using its bare hands.
I'll leave matters here to you. I'm going to do a sweep of the surrounding area.
Do you know anyone else in this sector who no longer wears a regulator?
Oh, I don't think I've seen Isadora and her boy with theirs recently.
Oh shit.
Go to them, quickly!
Shit.
Wayakwe! I'll be fine. But Isadora's in bad shape. Mother! Mother, please! Isadora! Oh, thank goodness. She wasn't struck anywhere vital.
Oh, shit.
I'm sorry. If only I'd gotten here sooner. Everything will be all right. I promise to make your mother better. Thank you, miss. Will she sleep like that forever? No, not forever. She'll wake soon, I'm sure of it. That's good to hear. Thank you for saving her.
Wayakwe? Forgive me. I was reckless. You shouldn't have had to waste time tending to my wounds as well. Did you see our comrade back there? He stayed behind in the lobby, but I heard the sounds of fighting. I'm sorry. He must have fallen protecting the residents. All right. We good to continue, or? Actually, we should probably take an ad break. We'll be back in just a moment. If you're watching on Twitch, stay tuned. If you're watching on YouTube, we will have the links provided in just a moment. See you in a bit.